Can you poach an egg in the air fryer? Yes, let me show you how. I have a couple Ramekins here. These are 5-ounce Ramekins, and these are oven safe. Or you could use a smaller like pot as long as it fits in your air fryer basket. This is super easy. This is not necessarily the best way to poach an egg, but if you want to do it in an air fryer, this is how you do it. All right? And so I'm going to start with some olive oil. Now you don't necessarily need the olive oil, but I'm going to just spray it on the inside here. And this helps to keep some remnants of the egg from sticking to the sides of the ramekin. If you have a bigger pot, like if you're using this one like this, then don't worry about the olive oil. And now I have some warm water here. It can be room temp. Warm water just helps it go a little bit faster. And I'm going to put in about 1/3 of a cup of water into each of these. You don't want to go too high with it because the egg will take up some space, and then we don't want the water to overflow too much inside the air fryer. It's not a big deal if it does do that. All right, and now I have my eggs, and now I'm going to just crack these eggs and put them in there. I also have about 1/2 teaspoon of white distilled vinegar. It's not necessary, but it does help with the egg a little bit, keep like the egg whites together. So I'm going to put about 1/4 teaspoon of vinegar in each one of these. That is optional. Now to the air fryer, I'll just pull out my basket. And then I'll put my eggs right in there. I'm going to turn the air fryer on. I'm going to set the temp to 375 Fahrenheit, which is 190 Celsius. And I'm going to let it go for 8 minutes. And it's going to take somewhere between 7 to 10 minutes, depending on the size of your egg and how many ramekins and how many eggs that you have in there. I'm going to start with 8 minutes and see where that gets us. All right, I'm going to give it a check. This one is definitely done, I can tell. So I'm going to just use a slotted spoon here. And look at that. Awesome. Nice and jiggly. So this one looks a little different just because of the way the egg whites were. Not quite as nice as the other one, but it's definitely done. See, the egg white got stuck on the bottom. See that? Just add a little bit more oil to that ramekin so the egg doesn't stick. I had one perfect one and one that's not as great. There you go. And now I want to show you how to do it in like a bigger pot. And so I have a bunch of hot water here. Let's get this filled up a bit. Add some vinegar. So let's take this out. Open up the air fryer basket. Put that in there. 375, and I'm going to go for about 7 minutes. All right. We'll take it out. We'll grab that egg. And then back in the air fryer to cook it up, finish cooking it. And we'll go another 3 to 4 minutes. All right, let's check it. There we go. Nice poached egg. See that? Very nice poached egg. And then depending on how you want your yolk, if you want it less jiggly, less runny, then you just cook it longer how you would traditionally poach eggs. The stovetop can be faster depending on if you have gas. If you have gas, you can boil water pretty quickly and then put the eggs in there. But again, if you don't have a stovetop that is working, but you do have an air fryer, you can poach those eggs in a bigger container like this one, or use those ramekins, whichever method you prefer. Try them both and see what works best for you. Well, there you have it. That is how you poach an egg in the air fryer. And as you can see, it doesn't necessarily turn out perfect every time, so it'll take a little bit of practice probably, depending on your air fryer and the size of the eggs and whatnot. If you want to learn how to poach an egg using the microwave, which is like super fast, it takes like 1.5 minutes total, check out the video at the end of this video. I'm Matt Taylor. This has been another episode of In the Kitchen with Matt. Thank you for joining me. Thumbs up, down in the corner, press it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and check out my other videos. Take care. Time for me to dive into this and show you what it looks like. So this one, cut into there. Look at that nice runny yolk. And then you can just boil it longer depending on how you want your egg yolk. This one is a little bit more done, but still a little bit of runny in there. But you can see that's more of a, not quite as runny of an egg, but still definitely done. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt and a little pepper. And dive in. Yeah. Very good.